Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of the Platform Podcast. I am Mark Council.
I'm Stephen Whitaker.
What are there, brother?
There we go. Lovely handshake. We nailed it.
So today's podcast is for people who haven't been successful long-term in a gym. People who maybe started in a gym. People who don't identify as a gym goer, but do want to get the rewards that you get from being long-term consistent in a gym. We've helped over 4,000 people around Tameside in the last 9 years in like a week. Week today, actually.
Yeah, in platform.
Yeah, in platform. Yeah, true. We were
You
doing
could
it before
extend
that.
that slightly, but yeah.
And there's traits that you see amongst people. We help people go from not a gym goer or not getting what they want out of a gym, not consistently active, and we build routines, rhythms, habits into their life that allow them to do this long term. And when you do that enough, you see the patterns of behaviors that allow people to go from inactive to long-term consistently active. And for us, that is where the magic happens. Anyone can shout and scream at you and bury you into the floor and get your results over 6, 8, 12 weeks. But the magic happens when you do this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5+ years. And that's what we help people do. So today, if you're someone who isn't active in a gym or isn't as consistently active as you like to be, hopefully we're going to drop some wisdom which will help you on your journey.
I would like to think we've got a fair bit of wisdom to share in that area. We've helped people who have come to us in their 60s that have never stepped foot in a gym before in their life. People who come to us in their 40s, their 50s, who in their early 20s was quite keen with the gym or a sport or really active, got to 30s and kind of life took over a little bit. And, it might have been building a family. It might have been their career that's took off. It might have been moving homes, and health and exercises slowly dwindled away into this state where it may be non-existent. It may just be that they're really out of the loop and it's a little bit like start, stop. They'll try something for a month or two. They'll stop for 6 months. They'll go again. And that is the majority of the people that we have worked with over the past 9-10 years. And there's a lot of wisdom to share around it. And I think we'll touch on different things as we go through, but I think a lot of people, especially when they start in the fitness journey, they start it from a place of, I'm really fed up of being where I am. I want to feel this way. And the kind of only focus is on losing X amount of weight or getting to a certain dress size or hitting a certain target. The focus generally at the start there is fairly wrong, because when I ask them people, okay, once you've hit that, what's the plan thereafter? There's nothing. But when I also speak to people, it's like, I really don't want to feel like this. Okay, well, I want this to be the last time that you ever start. I want this to be something where we can achieve X and you can feel like that for the rest of your life. And that's actually what they want. And I think when we change our mind frame around that and we put some of the things in place that we'll talk about today, it is achievable, because we've seen it's achievable. We've got people that's still with us now, years down the line. We've got people that have come to us, worked with us at Platform for 6 months, 12 months, even a month for some people. And then they've gone on and continued that journey themselves, which is incredible for us as well, to help them do that. They've now really consistent in their gym on their own, may just be a general commercial gym that they was terrified to walk into at one point. They kind of didn't ever think they would have the confidence to be able to do so. And we've got them there. So
yeah,
well, that explains it well enough.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So there's 5 of those things that we've identified that we think is a common theme amongst people who we've taken from 0 to active long term. And let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
Number 1 is you have to overcome something. The people who've had the best progress in Platform, I think, particularly the ones who've gone from completely inactive, probably carrying a fair amount of extra body fat that they're trying to get rid of. The lifestyle is completely nowhere near what they want in terms of the things they want to achieve with their health. So they're probably drinking too much alcohol, probably eating a lot of processed takeaway food.
Yeah.
They are really inactive. The people who we've taken from that position to now, they've been in Platform for 4 or 5 years and they've done 3 sessions a week on average for 4 years, of which there's lots of those people. I think all of those people overcame something in that first 12 months. And what I mean by that is they started with all of the will and intention that they've ever had with every journey that they've ever had before, where they turn up and like, this is it, this is the time. They get anywhere between 3 to 6 months in, and reality bites then of, fuck, I've got to keep doing this. And then they overcome that hurdle that then happens of putting up against life, their current identity of who they were and who they're trying to become, the routines of going to the gym consistently. Like, you've got to factor these things into your life. And there's a point where people go off track and they disappear in the process.
Yeah.
And it's when they overcome that point, which is somewhere like 6, 8, 9 months in, when they overcome that and get back in, that's the point where the magic happens.
I would say so, yeah. And I think one of the biggest compliments we get, which helps with that a little bit, is I've never enjoyed going to the gym before in my life, and I never thought I'd be the person to say that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing sometimes. One, it's the enjoyment of it, but two, it's that identity shift in terms of they are now seeing themselves as someone who enjoys going to the gym, which is a huge kind of shift in perspective. I think, like you say, where we've got to overcome something, overcome that hurdle. It is, I think you do have to kind of shift who you are as a person. And that, again, when we talked about goals a little bit earlier on, maybe that goal is to become someone who enjoys health and exercise, who sees that as an active part of their lifestyle, and gets to a stage where it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like the thing that they want to do, they get to do, and they really look forward to it. That's another thing we talk about a lot with the members, is like, that's where I want you to get to. And especially someone that's been active previously, you may have felt like that at some point in your past, where you loved going to the gym, or you loved going playing a sport with your friends, or you loved, and the thing that you did that you enjoyed was part of health and being active. That's dwindled. That might now change to going to the pub or something slightly different. It's not the same. And yeah, it's finding the love for that. I think overcoming something, that's one part of that. It's finding that enjoyment for it and realizing, no, like this, I've had that slip, I've had that little blip, like this is now who I am as a person. I'm not going to allow myself to go back to being that person that I was 6, 8, 9 months ago.
I think, I think the 2 points that I'd make on this first one is what you were saying there of, firstly, I would accept that this start is not going to be perfect. I would accept that there's going to be a hurdle. And I would also think that the evidence of that hurdle is the evidence that I'm going the right way. But you've got to overcome it. You can't let that hurdle become, I just stop again. It's got to continue in a moderate way, not back in 6 days a week. It's back in twice a week. It's messy consistency throughout that period. It's stumbling through until you realize that actually 12 months has passed and I've been in every week 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That's the first one. And I think the second one is, it is near impossible to do that process without accountability. You need support and you need a team. You need someone calling you out on your bullshit, but also giving you a viable olive branch, handout, reach to carry you through that process. It's near impossible to not listen to your own bullshit and not be absorbed by it. And you know, it's near impossible to hear the voices in your head and overcome them yourself. You need someone else carrying you through that process.
100%.
And that's why coaching is so powerful, isn't it?
Coach, it really is. And especially when you understand that as well from our point of view, where we can get that reach out, we can get that reach out right as well, not make the person feel any more pressure than they already do, or put on themselves. But again, that, as much as I would always advise getting a coach, someone who can help you get through that process, doesn't have to be us, but it's a great place to start. A friend, a relative, your partner.
Yeah, tell people your goals.
This is how I currently feel. I feel motivated to make this start at the moment. Every time I've tried in the past, it's lasted 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 4 months, and I fell off and I've gone back to the same old habits and the same old routines. I do not want to make that same mistake again this time. If I start going down that route, I need you to be the one to say, pick your shit up a little bit, let's get going. This is what you said, and I'm going to challenge you on that a little bit because you started slipping a little bit. And that's what you need. And you know, a coach can do that in a really good way, in a good manner, especially once they get to know you a little bit better and know the right way to challenge you. A friend will probably tell you straight up to your face. If it's a good friend, you know, they should do. They'll challenge you and they'll tell you exactly what you need to hear. But yeah, the accountability side of it is huge as well. I would agree.
Cool. Point number 2. And this is what I think would be good for you to take away, Steve. And it's do one thing well.
Yes, which it's very easy to get overwhelmed and trying to do everything all at once at the start. I've mentioned this on previous podcasts. I'll mention it on more podcasts. I mention it all the time in the gym. And it's consistent imperfection beats inconsistent perfection every time.
Well done. It's easy to butcher that.
It is easy to butcher it. When people start off, they try getting the gym routine sorted. They try getting the nutrition in hand. They try maybe sorting the sleep out. It's one that's probably overlooked a little bit. We could do a full podcast on that. Mark would love that. We could. They try and look at every area of their life. Maybe they cut out takeaways. Maybe we cut out drinking. Maybe we kind of stop socializing that aspect as well, which is actually a huge part of health. That's another one I would love to do, maybe a full podcast on at some point, which is social health around that, which people dismiss with the gym. We'll talk on that a bit though, I'm sure, today, and maybe in a couple we've got coming up. So I think the one thing that people need to do well at the start, which again is almost always overlooked, is consistently show up at the gym. And honestly, I've said this to a few members who've started over the last few weeks. I could not give a shit what you do in them first few weeks. As long as you've spent an hour in the gym and you've moved and you've made some progress, incredible. Let's start building that routine. Let's get that behavior right before we get anything else right. Let's train that behavior of turning up to the gym 3 times a week. We can build on that. We're looking at more of a long-term progress. And it's why the 6-week, 8-week, 12-week military training camps, shreds, big drive you into the ground, often fail people because they're trying to get everything right for 8 to 12 weeks. The behavioral cost of trying to keep that up is such a huge change for your life. It's just not worth that progress you make. We get tired. It's then, I need a break. That break that you was going to have for a week then turns into 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The habits creep back in and we're back to square one before we know it. Training the behavior of turning up to the gym is what I would say with that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think it's silly when you think of people where they spend that long researching what the perfect program for them to do is.
Yeah.
They could have just started doing something.
Yeah.
And something would have gotten further than the perfect program.
Absolutely.
Doing something consistently that is, you can take the worst program that's ever been written, do it consistently, and make more progress than someone who's trying to research the best program ever. It sounds ridiculous to say it because it's like, well, duh, but people do that. People will sit and, should I do this? Should I do that?
I don't know exactly what to do.
Just do something.
Just turn up. Just show up at the gym. And, you know, if it's a commercial gym and you just turn up for a few weeks and walk on the treadmill for half an hour and you go home, you've started creating a behavior, you've started creating a routine. That's where then, if we're unsure of what happens next, reach out to a coach. You know what, I've proved to myself I can turn up now 3 times a week to the gym. I want to step my training up. I don't really know where to start. Whether that's an online coach or it's an in-person coach, or you get someone to coach you through those things and move, it's a really good next step for you. But you can't really do it without that consistency and without that behavior in place to start with.
I think that we're both agreed, aren't we, that when it comes to do one thing well, for most people, that is just be consistent in the gym. Doesn't matter what that looks like. And I think there's a great story of a member we still have in platform. He's been a member for a good while now, like it's probably 7 years. And they started in the gym. They went and watched City. They had a season ticket. They'd be there on a Saturday, sometimes midweek, and found that the trap they fell into was that because they were there on a Saturday, they'd have a load of beers. They felt like crap on the Sunday, felt like crap on the Monday, so didn't get started on the Monday. It would come to Tuesday, they'd be thinking, should I go to the gym? But then they'd be thinking, well, I'm at City again on Saturday. Or sometimes it'd be, well, I'm at City tomorrow if they had a midweek game. So it was like, well, what's the point in going to the gym Tuesday when I'm at City on Wednesday? I'm not going to have all the beers and a pie, and might even be just delay it till the Saturday. So they said to me when they started, and I was chuffed that they did because it was the right move for them, was I don't even want to think about my nutrition until I've been consistent in a gym for 12 months. And that was what he did. He literally just got himself to the gym for a year. He came even though he was at City. So he'd come on a Monday even though he felt like crap because he was still hungover from Saturday.
Yeah.
He came on a Tuesday even though he knew he was going to watch City on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
He was in the gym on a Friday even though he'd been to watch City on a Wednesday. He came 3 times a week consistently for a year. And I remember coming up to him after like 12 months and saying, like, you've done this consistently now for that time. Would you be able to talk about your nutrition? And he was like, you know what? I've been thinking myself, like, I feel like I'm ready for it now because I'm like, this isn't going to drop.
Yeah.
And probably 6 years removed from that, he's still consistent in the gym, just as much as he was. And over the next probably 2 years after that, shall we talk about nutrition, he dropped, I think it was like 4 or 5 stone.
I think it
And
was more, mate,
I
to be honest. I think it was around 6 stone.
I think you might be right. And he's kept it off since. And he's still active in the gym. And the reason he did that was because he did one thing well. He became consistent in the gym for a year before he even thought about changing his nutrition. And that is, firstly, one thing to do. But secondly, it leads on to the next point, which is what happened to him during that time period, is that he challenged his identity. In the start of the process, you've got to challenge your identity.
Yeah.
And what he did was he challenged the notion of, am I like one of the lads, have a beer, have a pint, football, and lads and beer is my thing?
Yeah.
Or am I a gym goer? Or can I find a world where those two marry?
Yeah.
And that was what he did. He didn't stop going watching football. He didn't stop enjoying football. He managed to find a balance between the two. And the way that he did that was he challenged the identity of who he was. And where this becomes so important is the people you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
Because if the people you're surrounded by, like, just have a beer, stop being boring, like, just, oh, he's been gym now, he can't have a pie. Like, when you hear those things, it derails you. And that's where the identity bit comes into it. That if you're still the lad who's getting on the beers, having a pie, getting on the bag on a weekend, it's hard to be that person and also the person who cares for the health.
Yeah.
Hard for the two to coexist, especially if they've never coexisted previously. So when you're in the process of doing one thing well, you're also challenging your own internal identity of who you are. And secondly, you're kind of promoting that externally to the people around you as well.
100%. And without that strong identity of understanding who that person is as well, it's easy to, like you say, give in to that, just have a beer.
So easy, yeah.
So there's kind of be aware of who you got around you. And I think, for one as well, it starts with a little bit of transparency from you. Look, I'm really fucking fed up of where I've been recently with my health, with this, with that. Chances are that person might be struggling too. They've just not had that conversation with themselves yet. And they'd rather take the piss out of you than deal with their own emotions.
Oh, preach, brother.
But, you know, and it's not on them. If you then turn around and have more beers and you get on the bag at the weekend, you fuck it all up, you don't get to the gym the next week, unfortunately, that lies with you, whether you like it or not, because you've chose to surround yourself with that person. You've chose to go and take that beer. You've chose to do whatever comes next from that beer, and your weekend's ruined, your progress is ruined. It's easy to see why you go around in circles. If you sit down and have that conversation with yourself at the start and understand your identity and, like, you know, this is not my true being, or it doesn't fit with me now and who I want to be and who I am, and it's making me feel a certain way, which is, you know, unhappy, sad, whatever that reason would be. I feel like a failure. I want to make these changes. As much as what comes next has to come from a place of love, I do feel like that starting motion for a lot of people comes from a place of hurt or hate, which can be okay as long as we shift that moving forward, in my opinion. It's then understanding who this person is, though, and that's the problem. This is who you are now. You know, your actions and your states and the things that you have done have proved that. That's who you are. That's what's got you in that position now. But that doesn't have to be who you are in 6 months' time, and that can change. I think that's it. It's not getting a clear picture of that. Who am I in 6 months' time? What do I do week to week? What does that look like? Do I still have a drink on the weekend with my friends? But what does that look like? Is it more civilized? Is it more mannered? Am I just going having a couple of beers at the football and then making sure that I'm fresh on my Sunday morning? Am I getting out on a big walk on the Sunday? Am I hitting the gym on a Monday? How do I feel? And I think once you've started asking yourself those questions and painted that picture of the identity of the person you want to become, of who future Stevie is in 6 months' time, what I achieved in that time frame, probably leads quite well into another point, which is we can set some kind of goal markers in that time frame as well. In 6 months' time, if I've achieved X, Y, Z, I've started to become that person. That's how this person behaves. That's how I want to behave. Does that make sense? How I've explained that? I feel like it does.
Yeah. Point number 4: ask for help.
Ask for help.
It's mad, this one, isn't it? Sorry, I laughed to myself there because the amount of people I've had the conversation with all year. No, I know I'm doing the gym. It's all right. I'm like, I went to uni for 6 years, got 2 degrees, got a master's in strength and conditioning, worked at the top level of sport, and I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing in the gym. But some guy who's done it for a year, he knows what he's doing now.
Watched a few YouTube videos.
Watched a few
on it.
YouTube videos, so he knows what he's doing.
That's the what's the curve called?
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
Where the little you know, the more you think you know. So you learn more and realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is at first you don't know what you don't know, and when you realize what you don't know, you realize just how little you know.
Yeah.
Even though you know a lot more. It's funny, isn't it? But it's true in all walks of life. But coaching is so powerful, and I think the testament for why coaching is so powerful is that coaches have coaches. Coaches don't do it themselves. Like PTs have their own PTs.
Yeah.
Eddie Hall has coaches. LeBron James has coaches.
Started with a boxing background, like
Yeah.
the best boxers in the world have someone that coaches them.
Yeah. Name a boxer who's won a world title without a coach in the corner.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't exist.
You know, the best athletes in the world have coaches, and a lot of the time it's accountability. Sometimes it's that kind of point you in the
It's
right,
everything though,
right
isn't it?
direction.
It's
Sometimes
all of
it's
those
to
things.
rein you in a little bit when you're going too much, because that is also a thing, especially at athlete level. But even for
And especially for people who are starting from zero, they
people
always
starting
think
from
they need to do
zero,
more than they.
100%, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking, I need to go 3-4 sessions a week. I need to do this. And the big thing is as well, you know, we will look at outside of. I'm probably going a little bit off track here, but when we look at people's starting point and where we want to get to, 2 to 3 gym sessions a week is more than enough. Changing that to 4 or 5, doing an extra 2 hours a week where it's slightly higher intensity than going on a walk is probably pointless. If we sat down sedentary all day, you're talking between 3 and 5 hours in your week, as opposed to 60 and 80 hours that we can probably have a little bit more control over, where we may be moving a little bit more, maybe we're making smart choices for nutrition. We're doing it with our plan and the right mindset in place and some accountability around it, which a coach will guide you with every single step of the way. And I think you're trying to delve into something where you don't necessarily know the right thing to do. You've tried 2 or 3 times and something's worked well for you, but then you've gone round in circles. I would argue that it's not worked well for you, by the way, if that's the case. But get someone that has helped, someone that has made that progress that you've made, that has helped other people do it, that, you know, maybe you know someone that's made that progress. Ask them how they've done it. Ask them how they got help. Ask them who served them and who coached them through that process. You will get to where you want to get to so much faster. The investment in your health, there's not one person that has made, you know, invested in a coach and progress and come back and said, I wish I didn't make that investment.
I wish I didn't make progress that fast.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think, like, right now I've got 3 coaches. I've got a cricket coach, a boxing coach, and an online coach for weightlifting.
Yeah.
You BJJ online coaching.
Yeah.
Like, I could easily write my own program, and I've done it loads of times, but I have an online coach to give me a program to follow. Because for one, I value the coaching process, and for 2, it's biased if I write it. I put the things in that I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is often humbling when I have to do the things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's,
try and wriggle out of it.
Yeah, it's true belief in the process. It's like people are often surprised when they find out I don't train at platform, but that's because I believe in the process of, for one, paying for the gym, paying for something to support my health and wellness, and paying someone else to tell me what to do, because I know how beneficial that is for me doing that to other people.
Yeah.
It's not just because I know what to do, I'll do it. I've got to take my decisions through my emotional filter.
Yeah.
Whereas a coach doesn't. They just can logically say, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I'll make progress quicker.
100%. It's funny because when we open platform, probably 3 to 4 months in, my training had slipped quite a bit, and it still carried on slipping for probably up to like 6 to 8 months. I'd gone from a position where I was boxing. I was at the boxing gym 3 nights a week religiously for about 15 years, probably, it felt like 12 years. I turned up to the gym. I had a coach. They told me what to do 3 nights a week. They told me I had to run 2 days a week as well around that. If I was fighting,
Beat the fuck out of you if you didn't.
Yeah, if I turned up on a Monday and I'd gone a bit AWOL over the weekend and decided I was having a big takeaway and something else, I jumped on the scales on a Monday night, I was getting bollocked. So every part of my training was kind of catered for. I do my S&C around it because I really enjoyed doing it and I knew it was beneficial for my sport. So that was great. As soon as that stopped, I worked out of a gym in that 8-month period. I constantly had equipment around me where I could exercise. I could jump in sessions with people if I ever wanted to. And I trained less than I'd ever trained in my life. which is funny, and I chat to people about that. And a huge part of that is the accountability side of it. I think it just takes that overwhelm away from everything for you, especially if you're someone who, if you're a parent, 1,000,000%, I can vouch for that. If you have a professional job, you have a busy job, if you help run the home and you have a partner, then you do stuff together all the time. You're constantly making a lot of decisions in your life. And decision fatigue is a thing. It gets to the stage, especially if you've got a job where it's a little bit stressful. You get to the end of the day, the last thing you want to start thinking about doing at that point then is, what am I going to do in the gym today? I'll go to the gym, but should I do this? Should I do that? What if I get there and someone's on that piece of equipment again and I have to change my session up? There's just too many things that then we've got to overcome. A coach gets rid of every single one of those questions for you. You turn up at the gym, you know exactly what you need to do. You've got a plan set out in stone for you. Anything goes wrong, they're there to help and assist and amend it slightly for you. You might have a question at some point that pops up. There's just no stumbling blocks ever. It kind of takes all those hurdles away because they're always there with the answer for you. And I think that's a big thing. It takes the overwhelm away and they're only ever a message away if you ever need them.
That is 4 out of 5. On to 5 out of 5. This is one that I don't think people would expect, but it's essentially it's regular gratitude.
Yeah.
It's regularly accepting the progress that you are making to yourself, because one of the biggest sabotages that people make, particularly new in the process, and particularly if the reason you aren't active in the process of going to the gym, eating nutritiously, etc., is because you label yourself a certain way or you're negatively talking to yourself internally, you won't accept the results that you get into yourself, even though they're happening. I've had people tell me that it isn't working after they've lost a stone. It's wild to say that, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put that sentence out loud. But I've sat with people like, it's just not working, and they've lost a stone. There's one person who lost, I think it was like 1 stone and 4 pounds in 6 weeks, which is a very fast rate of fat loss. 18 pounds in 6 weeks, 3 pounds a week. That's actually insane. Wasn't happy that it wasn't faster.
Yeah.
And didn't carry on in platform. And I was mind boggled at the time, and I couldn't understand. Like, I understand more about the thinking behind it now than I used to. And the thing that I've seen over all the years is people where, like, they'll do a great squat, they'll set a PB, and then they'll put it back and go, it's crap that though, wasn't it?
I think I could have gone quite a little bit lower there.
Yeah.
Like, that was an incredible lift
Yeah.
with a weight on your back that you have never done. It
Yeah.
was more than low enough.
Tell the version of you a year ago that you're going to do that. They'd be mind blown. But the version here today who's done that, that was crap that.
Yeah.
Could have been better.
It's a big topic, isn't it? And I think it genuinely, it's another one of them. There's probably been a few things we've touched on today in the midst of this, which
could be their own podcast.
Could be their own podcast. And this definitely is one of those. And we can delve into it so many different ways because the psychology of it is huge behind like the things we're talking about at the moment. But yeah, it's when people come in as well, it's like I'll have chat with people on the gym floor. It might be 4 weeks in, 6 weeks in. They'll come and tell me their clothes are fitting them better. They're feeling so much kind of healthier. They're not getting out of breath when they get to the top of the stairs. They're stronger than they ever thought was possible. They've had a compliment at work about how well they're looking and, you know, they're glowing. Their nutrition's been on point. Their sleep's been better. They jump on the in-body machine. In their head, they've lost like 1 stone. They've only lost 7 pounds in their abs. It's like everything else didn't matter. I forgot about all that now. That can go in the bin. And it's like the world's ended. And it's just like, please, like, there's so many different metrics that we can touch on. But it's important when we say about training, the behavior of turning up to the gym 3 times, just the facts for some people that you have got your ass off the couch, you've changed your lifestyle, you've gone to the gym 3 times a week for 5-6 weeks is an incredible fucking win, regardless of anything else around it, because you've started building an incredible foundation that you can actually go and achieve those goals that you have now. Without that foundation, everything else just crumbles. And I think that's the thing where people go wrong in it. There's little wins in every single step of the journey. It might be that I did a squat today with a barbell on my back and I was terrified of that 4 weeks ago. It might be I've gone to a team session at the gym, was a little bit busy, that felt a little bit overwhelming for me 3-4 weeks ago. And do you know what? It weren't actually that bad. It was all right. But me 4 weeks ago wouldn't have walked into a gym with 12 people in a room and done a workout. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. And I think people forget to give themselves credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they'll do that workout with 12 people in a room and they'll think, oh, maybe I was a bit slow there. I was holding Julie up. Fuck Julie, because she was you 12 weeks ago and she'd be buzzing that you just walked in the door.
And Julie'd probably think, in fact, fuck, I got a bit of a rest.
Yeah, Julie's happy. She's like, you take a minute, girl.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, I'm fine. And until this is conversations we have all the time, people in the gym, and it's everyone, especially in platform, everyone's walked that path before you. Don't get me wrong, there's some dicks in commercial gyms, and we've done a full podcast on that, so we don't need to go into it again. And some people might look at you funny, whatever, but make it part of your identity. You become a person that doesn't give a shit about them people as well.
Yeah.
Well, it is. There's a lot of people there cheering for you and want you to do well as well. But giving yourself the little wins, and when we say we can touch on it deeper, you probably explain that a little bit better to me. But without it, when I said earlier about coming from starting from a place of I fucking hate the way I feel at the moment, it's okay. That's absolutely fine. You're allowed to feel this is shit and this is not how I want to feel. When we start thinking about who we want to become, that has to come from a place of love. I deserve to become that person. You know, I'm willing to work hard for it and I can go and achieve that. Do that from a place of love. Give yourself little gratitude and touch points and win check-ins along the way from a place of love as well.
Yeah, it's what we said last time about you don't achieve the result and become someone new. You become someone new and then achieve the result. But that becoming someone new comes from the place of love. And it's that no one has ever hated themselves into a better place. You've got to love yourself into a better place. You aren't going to tell yourself you're a fat, lazy piece of shit and make that motivate you to become an active gym goer who enjoys the gym. If you're constantly telling yourself such negative things in your head, you're not going to build a positive association with that thing.
Absolutely not. And the
it's
chances are, if you tell yourself, I'm a fat, lazy piece of shit all
Yeah.
the time, you're going to start falling back into the habit of...
You're going to reinforce the fact you're a fat, lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, imagine if, like, you've got kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, your lad, if you're saying to your lad every time he goes boxing, you're crap at this. You're so crap at this. You're lazy. You're crap. I don't get why you're even bothering trying. He's not going to grow up as someone who enjoys boxing.
Yeah.
And it's the same as you talking to yourself. If you then was trying to get into the gym and going, you're crap at this, you're fat, you're lazy, like, you're not going to build an association where you continue to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth bearing in mind, that you aren't going to hate yourself to a better place. You got to do it from a place of love. You got to show yourself gratitude. What's gone on before, like you said, you can start from that place of frustration. What's gone before is fine. But at some point, that's got to be a gratitude for yourself for trying to make a change, and show yourself some love for the fact that this is going to be fucking hard, but you're doing it anyway.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
The one thing with that as well, I feel like, because we can probably wrap up soon. We've touched all the points there, haven't we?
Yeah. We've probably got a half an hour over.
Way over. Anyway, but he made a great point there, Marco, and I kind of want to just reinforce that a little bit and maybe just kind of play with the wording on it a tiny bit as well. And it's, you know, it can come from a place of hate, and we can start making them changes from a place of love. You can feel however you feel about yourself now. If you've watched this and any of it's resonated with you, then please drop us a message or anything. I'll help you as much as I possibly can at the start of your journey. But you can change who you are, who you want to be now. In this very minute, in this very second. You don't have to wait until you've got to the gym. You don't have to wait until you've done your first week. You don't have to wait until you've done 4 weeks. You can change who you are now. You don't have to wait for anybody. You don't have to wait for permission. You decide, you know what, I am now the person that goes to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to make that commitment to myself. I'm going to become a fitter, healthier, stronger version of me. Whether that's for you, whether it's for your kids, whether it's for longevity, because you want to live longer, whether it's because you want to look fucking incredible when you go on holiday in a few months. I don't give a shit where it comes from. But I want to see you make them changes. I want to see, you know, more positive outlook on health and exercise. And I think that's a great way to start. And you can genuinely make that change this minute. You can write a few things down now of who you want to become. And you can get to the gym 2-3 times next week. And guess what? If we fuck up and we get there once, we're still that person. We just try again the week after and we do 2 or 3 times that week. Right, well, this cropped up, so I've realised this is a problem. And if I try and go at 5 p.m. in the evening and I don't put my fucking laptop down at 4:30, I'm not going to get there. So how can I do that? Well, I can't really go at 6 because I've got that coming up at 7. But maybe what about if I try in the morning next week? I'll go 2 times. I'll go once before work and 2 times in the afternoon. Perfect. We're making progress. We're just not letting that thing become the hurdle that we fall over and go straight back to the beginning, just block it all off and decide to stop. We find a way over that hurdle and we carry on going.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything we wanted there. I'm going to recap the 5. There's 5 points for if you're starting out this process and you want to make this journey a long-term, consistent journey. There is 5 things. There is, you've got to overcome something early on. So assume it's going to be challenging. And when things go off track, be prepared for that. It's going to happen, but we're going to behave differently this time. Got to do one thing well. Stop trying to do everything immaculately. We're not trying to go to the gym, get our nutrition, get our steps, get our water, improve our sleep. We don't need to do all of that. Do one thing well. And we'd both agree that that is movement. Try and be consistent in the gym. And if steps happen, great, let's do that. You've got to challenge your identity while you do that. The people around you are going to tell you you're boring and ask you why you've changed, etc., etc. You've got to challenge yourself. Is this really the thing that you want? If so, go through that, push through it. 4, ask for help. The best people in the world that you know in any domain have someone that helps them. They have a coach, they have a mentor. Ask for help. And finally, stop yourself along the process to show yourself some gratitude. You're doing this for you, and you're doing it. So pat yourself on the back. No one's done this for you. You've walked in that gym for the first time, and you've gone through all of those embarrassing scenarios and situations, but you've done it for you. Show yourself some gratitude for that. Pat yourself on the back, and let's make this journey a long one.
I would agree. And if you're watching this, you're probably already on that journey. It might just be because me and Mark are hilarious and good looking. Could be, though, to get a little bit of wisdom from us. So if it is the latter, take that. You're already winning. You know, you're on the way. You've got some wisdom from today and you can get started. So give yourself some credit just for actively pursuing a podcast that is a little bit about fitness, because that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Peace out. We'll see you on the next episode. Lovely. We do the handshake at the end as well. There we go.